Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've ever felt like the actual act of getting organized somehow causes you way more anxiety than the work itself, yeah, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're diving into source material on minimalist planners, and we're going to figure out how to build a system that actually works for your life instead of fighting against it.
Okay, be honest. Have you ever bought one of those really beautiful, expensive, leather-bound planners, filled it out perfectly for like exactly 4 days, and then just banished it to the drawer of forgotten dreams? If you're nodding right now, trust me, you are not alone. We carry so much guilt about this. We think, oh, if I was just more disciplined, this would totally work.
But actually, scratch that. As our source material points out, the failure isn't on your end. The problem isn't planning itself, it's overplanning. The real flaw lies in these rigid, traditional systems that just demand way too much from you. When you try to track everything, optimize every single waking hour, and juggle dozens of tasks at once, your brain just burns out. You literally end up spending more time planning your life than actually living it.
So here is our roadmap for this explainer. First, why traditional planners fail. Second, the minimalist planning method. Third, layouts that actually work. Fourth, paper versus digital planners. And finally, how to start today.
All right, let's jump into section 1, why traditional planners fail.
It really comes down to this trap known as the guilt cycle. Traditional planners are basically built around this impossible idea that you can control everything. You start out setting these wildly ambitious, unrealistic expectations, but then, because life happens, priorities shift, right? A meeting runs late. Suddenly, boom, you're behind schedule. That is exactly when the guilt kicks in. You feel like a failure, even though your plan was just way too ambitious to begin with. Tracking the work becomes more exhausting than doing the work, and so you just abandon the whole thing.
And honestly, while this strains everybody, it hits some of us a lot harder. For neurodivergent individuals, highly structured systems with a million rules can be totally overwhelming. Think about busy parents and caregivers. Your days are so dynamic that rigid time blocking is basically a joke. Students are already feeling the pressure of juggling deadlines, and creative entrepreneurs need flexibility to follow their momentum, not strict constraints. If your life is unpredictable, adaptability isn't just nice to have. It is absolutely crucial.
Which brings us to section 2, the minimalist planning method.
The whole philosophy here really boils down to this quote from the source material: less planning, more clarity. It's like a breath of fresh air, isn't it? Unlike those bloated, anxiety-inducing methods that want every minor detail mapped out, minimalist planners strip away all that noise. It's all about intentional restriction, doing less but doing it significantly better. The secret sauce here is actually the constraints. A minimalist planner intentionally limits the amount you write. You don't need pages of notes, just quick, punchy entries. It also limits your planning horizon, so instead of agonizing over next month, you just focus on the next few days to keep that future anxiety in check. And crucially, it heavily limits the number of tasks and goals you take on. By restricting what goes in, you finally get to focus on what truly matters.
Let's make this super concrete. Section 3, layouts that actually work.
I really want you to focus on this number. 1. Just 1. This is all about the sheer power of choosing exactly one main priority for your day. Instead of looking at a massive, terrifying list of competing demands, pinning down your absolute most important task creates instant clarity. It builds massive momentum. It means that even if everything else goes completely off the rails today, if you get this one thing done, the day was a success.
Here is how that looks in practice. It's called the one big thing plus 3 wins method. Step 1, you identify that single main priority. Step 2, you write down just 3 small, totally achievable supporting tasks, your quick wins. Step 3, block out a 60 to 90-minute focus session. No distractions, you just tackle the big thing. And Step 4, end your day with a really short reflection on what worked. This layout literally forces execution. It stops you from trying to do everything at once.
Now, if daily planning still feels like a bit too much pressure, here is a brilliant workaround: the 5 to 10 lines per day weekly layout. You basically just use one piece of paper for the whole week, and you physically restrict each day to, you guessed it, 5 to 10 lines. That's the whole shebang. The limited physical space works like magic because it makes overplanning literally impossible. It forces you to be realistic about your time before you even pick up a pen.
And then, for the ultimate minimalist approach, we have the MVP, the minimum viable planner. Think of this as the absolute bare-bones system. We're talking a really short daily task list, a rough schedule, and maybe a little space for some ideas. No color-coded trackers, no complex weekly spreads, just pure flexibility.
It removes all the friction, making it a total game changer for anyone who just needs a system to get out of their way.
Moving right along to Section 4, paper versus digital planners.
Look, there is no wrong answer here. It is entirely about what drops your stress levels the most. Paper planners give you this amazing, tactile, distraction-free break from screens, which is beautifully simple. But on the flip side, digital planners are super flexible, incredibly portable, and fast to update, which is perfect if your plans change by the hour. The absolute best medium is simply the one you're actually going to use every day.
But hey, if you do go the digital route, like with Notion or GoodNotes, you absolutely have to embrace the quick in, quick out concept. A digital planner interaction should literally take mere seconds. Open the app, log the task, close the app. Done. If your digital system takes 5 minutes just to load up and navigate, yeah, that is not minimalist. Speed is absolutely key here.
And here is a magic number to keep in mind, whether you're using paper or a tablet: 15. The source material heavily recommends capping your planning window to 7 to 15 days maximum. Seriously, one of the biggest traps overplanners fall into is trying to plan a whole month out. By keeping your horizon to just the next 15 days, you drastically cut down on that anxiety about the future and keep things super realistic. Focus on what you can control right now.
All right, final stretch. Section 5, how to start today.
Here are your rapid-fire rules for minimalist execution. Ready? First, start tiny. Do not try to fill every blank space on your page. Intentionally leave space empty. Second, stick to a max of 3 to 6 daily tasks to prevent mental overload. Third, keep your planning sessions to like 5 or 10 minutes tops. No hour-long Sunday night marathons. And fourth, strictly focus on your key dates and non-negotiables. Consistency with simplicity is the goal here, not perfection.
And I really want to emphasize this: function always comes before beauty. Your planner is a thinking tool, guys, not an art project. So what if your handwriting is messy? If you've got lists crossed out everywhere, that is absolutely perfect. It means the tool is actually working for you. Don't let the pressure of having this perfectly aesthetic planner ruin the functional relief it's supposed to give you.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with one powerful question. Look at your life right now. In this moment, what is your one big thing today? Just one. Forget the mile-long list, strip away the noise, pick that one priority, grab a scrap of paper, and go get it done. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I honestly can't wait to see how this approach brings some much-needed clarity back to your days.